We need to hire more. There is not enough talent. This is exactly what a senior government official and White House appointee is saying right now. And it's because we need to modernize a lot of systems throughout federal agencies. Who could have thought of this? The message that we're hearing is in direct contradiction to the Trump administration. From the Trump playbook of getting rid over 300,000 federal workers from the workforce, then you have the hiring freeze, supposed to end on October 16th, but we're going to have to wait and see because a lot of people are saying it can go all the way till the end of the year, if not past that. And once that's complete, you got the 1-to-4 hiring rule where agencies are only allowed to hire one individual for every 4 that leave their organization. But DOGE, they've been hiring. They've been actively recruiting and asking federal workers to join them. Federal workers that have a background in tech or a legal background. But let's say you make it to the interview stage. There's something over there called a political alignment interview. And that's where they sit you down and they try to figure out what is your political ideology. If you lean too far to the left, maybe even if you're in the center, there might not be any space for you on the team. So they're looking for individuals that lean hard to the right. And it's not just that. Another big consideration here is when you look at tech talent, if you look at cybersecurity professionals, AI specialists, all these individuals that are deep into the tech field, oftentimes they lean more to the left. But it's not just in DOGE, it's all across the federal government. There's been an effort, a push to modernize a lot of these systems within agencies. You can look at the Health and Human Services, HHS right now. They want to streamline medical records. What does that take? It takes some contractors, but you also need federal workers that are proficient and know about cloud computing, cloud engineering, full stack development. They need to have the skills. So this is becoming more and more challenging, especially since a recent executive order is pushing for all agencies to redesign their websites. Right now, if you got on your phone, look on your mobile device, go to a federal government website, only 6% of government websites are compatible on a mobile device. So that takes reconfiguration, that takes effort. It's not something you can just use AI for. You need a person to actually reconfigure that and then test it to make sure it's the way it's supposed to look. So we've seen how private companies do it with Apple, with Google, Microsoft. They have sleek interfaces. Everything looks good. It's very intuitive. It's not that way with the federal government. So the Trump administration has given agencies all the way out to July 4th, 2026. That's less than a year. In less than a year, they need to figure it out. So what is that going to take? That's going to take somebody with a background in graphic design, maybe. Look over at the 1000 job series. Somebody in the 1000 job series, visual arts, something like that. And if you go on usajobs.gov right now, they're not hiring, really. You'd be lucky to find maybe 12 positions, a dozen or less positions right now that they're hiring. They're going to need, by some estimations, all the way up to 1,000, if not more, federal workers that are specialized in graphic design and are specialized in programming. Now, how are you going to get them? In this political climate, how are you going to attract and retain? Well, we've witnessed recently immigration surges, right? So when it comes to ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, when it comes to Border Patrol, they're surging their agencies. How are they able to do it? Well, number one, they lowered their standards, but also they were willing to fork over a nice pile of cash. And I'm talking about that $50,000 bonus that ICE is currently dangling in front of people that are interested in joining the agency. So could we see something like that? It is not a question of, do we need the talent? Because obviously we do. We have White House appointees saying we do. We have leaders across many agencies saying we do. It doesn't help much that there's a current hiring freeze in place. What are we going to do in order to get that talent back into the federal workforce? Other people are more concerned with a potential government shutdown, which could be happening in less than a month. On October 1st, the whole thing could shut down. What's the probability of that? Well, if you look at the betting markets, they're placing a 75% likelihood of a shutdown. Now, if it does shut down, we're looking at probably just a week or two, and then Hopefully a CR gets pushed through there so that we can resume operations. If it gets shut down, then the hiring freeze doesn't matter because they're not going to be hiring anyway. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. The last time was during Trump's first administration. I believe it was the longest. And this was all about the wall at the border. There was a fight about getting the funds for the wall, building the wall. And eventually, after 35 days, they were able to reach some sort of an agreement. Will it be the same? It probably will not be that long, but we're going to have to wait and see. Either way you look at it, there's only so long that we can pretend that the federal workforce is not experiencing a severe shortage. So there's currently gaps throughout a lot of agencies. These gaps are going to expand. They're going to be holes. These holes are going to get bigger, and it's going to result in the failure of public safety, public health, and critical services. Agencies like the Veterans Affairs, the Social Security Administration, Health and Human Services, Department of Transportation, the Bureau of Federal Prisons. These are agencies that have a mission, among others, that the public relies upon. They count on it, so much so that they've even forgotten what these agencies do. They've taken it for granted because everything has been functioning so far. But at the moment of failure, it's going to be difficult for all of us, not just the federal worker, not just the average U.S. American citizen, but also the individuals that are currently in the Trump administration are going to be feeling the pain. Now, in addition to this, there's proposed rules about how we can fire federal employees quicker. Because in the past, it's taken months, 2, 3, 4 months, a year. They had to get reassigned because they were undesirable. They were not a good fit with that team. They were not being productive. So now we've shortened that time to just 2 weeks. Actually, it's about 15 days. But the Trump administration wants to be able to fire people, federal workers, civil servants, within 2 weeks. Get them out of there. And there's also ramifications when it comes to layoffs, the reduction in forces. How are we prioritizing performance? Now, a lot of people, this rubs a lot of people the wrong way because performance oftentimes, or let's say all the time, is subjective. Who is your supervisor? What does your supervisor think about you? What's the personality dynamic between you and your supervisor? There's a lot that goes into it. But if you want to know more about that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.